If your chess rating has stopped climbing, the problem is rarely a lack of intelligence. You are likely suffering from a training mismatch. Many players spend hours studying advanced grandmaster concepts while lacking the specific beginner fundamentals required to win at their current level. In the next 6 minutes, we are going to build you a customized 60-minute daily training routine mapped exactly to your skill level. This is how you put an end to mindless blitz games forever. To start, grab a pen and a piece of paper. Then, open your profile on chess.com, Lichess, or your FIDE dashboard to find your current rating number. Generalized chess advice is a trap. Real progression requires diagnosing the specific errors common in your bracket and applying a targeted mechanical cure. Before we fix your weaknesses, we have to clear up the currency exchange. A 1500 rating on one platform represents a completely different level of skill than a 1500 on another. Over-the-board FIDE ratings are the old standard. They generally show the lowest numerical value, but they hold the highest prestige in the chess world. For the purposes of this routine, we will use chess.com ratings as our universal benchmark and baseline. This graph illustrates the Lichess inflation trap. Starting at a 1500 baseline, Lichess ratings are often 200 to 300 points higher than chess.com at the beginner and intermediate levels. This gap closes as you improve, with both platforms converging at the 2400 master level. If you play primarily on Lichess, convert your number to the chess.com benchmark now. Don't skip the fundamentals you actually need by falsely classifying yourself into an advanced tier. The 400 to 1000 rating range is a landscape of chaos. Players here often play one-move chess, focusing exclusively on their own ideas and forgetting that the opponent also gets a turn. This leads to the most common reason for losing, simply hanging pieces for free. To escape this tier, you need the 1-2-2 opening rule. Place one pawn in the center, develop 2 knights, 2 bishops, and castle. Before every move, perform a safety check by looking at every square your opponent currently attacks. You must also master basic endgame mechanics. You should be able to deliver a king and queen checkmate in under 15 seconds. Rising into the 1000 to 1400 bracket marks a tactical awakening. You've stopped giving away pieces for free, but you are likely still falling for 2-move tricks. You understand what a fork or a pin is, but your pattern recognition is too slow to see them coming. Use Puzzle Rush or Storm to drill easy puzzles until tactical patterns become instinctual. In the endgame, you must learn the rule of the square to instantly calculate pawn races without counting every move. Success in the beginner brackets isn't about finding brilliant attacks. It's about building a mechanical shield that prevents you from giving your opponent free gifts. Most serious club players live between the 1400 and 1800 ratings, where they eventually hit the intermediate wall. You have solid openings and decent tactics, but you often reach the middle game and find yourself shuffling pieces because you don't have a concrete plan. You must start learning the typical plans associated with your pawn structures. If you play the London system, your goal should be a specific structural break, like the e5 push or a minority attack on the queen side. This diagram shows the process of candidate move training. Before calculating any line, identify 3 possible candidate moves. Combine this with prophylaxis, asking what your opponent wants to do and stopping it before you proceed with your own attack. To move past 1800, you have to transition from a tactical opportunist into an architect who dictates the flow of the position. The advanced tier, from 1800 to 2200, represents the top 5% of players. At this level, games are decided by micro-mistakes, like a slightly misplaced knight or a weakened pawn. The biggest hurdles here are emotional tilt and an over-reliance on engine evaluations. Start studying the model games of one specific grandmaster who plays your openings. If you prefer the King's Indian, study Kasparov or Hikaru Nakamura to understand how they navigate those specific structures. You must master complex rook and pawn endgames and build your physical stamina. At this level, mental fatigue leads to calculation errors, making light cardio a necessary part of a master's training routine. Beyond 2200, you enter the territory of masters and grandmasters. At this elite level, the primary obstacle is often a gap in opening preparation. Mastery requires using the latest engines to find novelties, moves that have never been played before. It also involves playing the man, deliberately steering tactical players into dry, boring endgames that they hate playing. At the titled level, the game becomes a psychological war of preparation and endurance. It's time to fill that piece of paper. Your daily routine will follow a strict 15-30-15 time split. Block A is your 15-minute tactical warm-up. Write down the focus for your tier. Tier 1 does basic mates, while Tier 2 grinds speed puzzles. Block B is your 30-minute serious game. Blitz is banned. Write down play 1 15+10 rapid game, so you have the time required to actually think through your moves. Block C is the 15-minute post-game autopsy. For the first 5 minutes, you are strictly forbidden from using an engine. You must manually search for the game's turning point yourself. Forcing your brain to find its own errors before looking at the engine's answer is how you build visualization skills. This manual review ensures you recognize the same mistake before you make it in your next game. You now have a concrete, personalized blueprint that targets the specific flaws keeping you trapped in your current rating. Close YouTube, open your chess app, and set the clock to 15+10. Execute this training hour right now. Knowledge is useless without execution. Consistent adherence to this plan is the only